What you're about to see is the recovered footage from our second day in this forsaken land. The stone gate, our only way back, slammed shut, sealing us in. The heavy thud echoed through the forest, a final, definitive sound. There was no way out. Our resident expert in ancient scripts, was frantically trying to decipher the symbols etched into the stone. Her face grew paler with each passing moment. She finally looked up, her voice trembling. "This place is cursed," she whispered. "The carvings speak of a land that consumes all who enter. A land of no return." Panic set in immediately. Toon, our youngest member, started hyperventilating. "What does that mean? We're trapped. This can't be happening." Kang tried to calm him down, but his own fear was visible. The only one who seemed strangely composed was Long. He scanned the dense, dark woods with an unsettling familiarity, as if he'd walked these paths before. With no other choice, we pushed deeper into the forest, hoping to find another way out, or at least some sign of civilization. The atmosphere grew heavier with every step. The trees here were unlike any we'd ever seen, their trunks twisted into grotesque, agonized shapes, their branches like skeletal fingers reaching for the sky. Then Kong stumbled over something. We gathered around, and our blood ran cold. It was a human femur, yellowed with age, half buried in the damp soil. A few feet away, we found more bones, a ribcage, a shattered skull. We weren't the first to be trapped here. Suddenly, my camera started shaking violently in my hands. It wasn't me. It was as if an unseen force was trying to wrestle it away. A faint, chilling whisper slithered through the air just on the edge of hearing. It sounded like dozens of voices, all murmuring at once. "Toon," a voice whispered, clear as day. We all froze. Toon spun around, his eyes wide with terror. "Did you hear that?" "What? Someone called my name?" We stared at him, then at each other. None of us had heard a thing. Was the fear getting to him, or was something more sinister at play? We pressed on, the silence now more menacing than any sound. After what felt like hours, we broke through a line of trees and stumbled upon a clearing. Before us stood the ruins of an abandoned village. The houses were dilapidated, their wooden frames rotting and covered in moss, looking like they could collapse at any moment. It was a ghost town, lost to time. Inside one of the larger huts, the walls were covered in crude, faded paintings. They depicted horrifying scenes, figures being held down on stone altars, priests with obsidian knives, and crowds of people with ecstatic yet terrifying expressions. Mai examined the paintings closely. "These are ancient sacrificial rituals," she explained, her voice hushed. "They were appeasing some kind of forest entity, offering human lives in exchange for something." I raised my camera to document the horrific discovery, but Long suddenly grabbed my arm. "Stop filming," he commanded, his voice sharp and cold. "What are you doing? This is crucial evidence," Kung shot back, stepping between us. The argument escalated quickly, our frayed nerves turning on each other. As if summoned by our conflict, the sky darkened abruptly. A thick crimson liquid began to fall from the clouds. It wasn't rain, it was the color of blood. We scrambled for cover, our clothes stained with the eerie downpour. The sight was surreal, a nightmare made real. In the chaos, I pulled out my phone, a desperate, futile attempt to call for help. No signal, not a single bar. The words, "No service," mocked us from the screen. We were utterly, completely cut off from the world. When the blood-red rain finally subsided, a new horror dawned on us. Toon was gone. We called his name, our voices echoing through the silent, dripping forest. We searched the abandoned village, our panic mounting with each empty hut we checked. He had vanished without a trace. Then, from deep within the woods, a scream tore through the air. It was Toon. We ran towards the sound, crashing through the undergrowth, our hearts pounding in our chests. We didn't find him. Instead, lying in a patch of mud was his camera. Its screen was cracked, but the recording light was still blinking. With trembling hands, Kong played back the last clip. The footage was shaky, filmed as Toon ran through the forest. He kept looking over his shoulder, panting heavily. Then he stopped, and the camera panned up. He was talking to someone, or something, just out of frame. "No, please," Toon pleaded with the unseen entity. "I don't want to. I can't." His voice was filled with a terror we had never heard before. The clip ended abruptly with a deafening screech and the sound of the camera hitting the ground. I let out a strangled sob, collapsing against a tree. The fear was suffocating. Seeing our despair, Long finally broke. His face was a mask of guilt and regret. "I've been here before," he confessed, his voice barely a whisper. The words hung in the air, heavy and damning. "I was part of a research expedition 10 years ago. We found this place by accident." Kong grabbed him by the collar, his face contorted with rage. You knew this place was a trap and you brought us here." Long couldn't meet his gaze. "I had to come back," he stammered. I thought I could find a way out this time." He looked at us, his eyes hollow. None of them made it out last time. No one survived. The revelation shattered what little hope we had left. Gong shoved Long away, screaming in fury and betrayal. As our group imploded, the ground began to tremble. It started as a low rumble and grew into a violent quake that nearly knocked us off our feet. The trees swayed violently, and from the corner of my eye I saw a dark, impossibly fast shape flitting between the trees. It was huge, unnatural, and it was watching us. Pure, instinctual terror took over. We ran. We fled without direction, without a plan, driven only by the primal need to escape the thing hunting us in the shadows. We burst into another clearing, gasping for breath, our lungs on fire, and then we saw him. Toon was standing in the middle of the clearing, completely still, his back to us. Toon. We cried out in relief. He slowly turned around. But something was wrong. His eyes, they were different. The pupils were dilated, almost completely black, and they held an ancient, malevolent emptiness. A slow, unnatural smile spread across his face, a chilling grin that didn't reach his vacant eyes. He took a single, deliberate step towards us. Then his eyes rolled back into his head, and he collapsed to the ground unconscious. What happened to him in the forest? And what was that thing we saw? The land of no return was just beginning to show us its true horrors. Stay with us. The next episode might be our last.